Okay, guys, so let's keep going with this. Um, One thing you could do for me in the comments is you can throw works of art at me. You can throw TV shows, you can throw movies at me, and I will attempt to describe for you how Harold Bloom covers what they are twisting on. Now, I might not know the work, and I might be able to go like, nope, I can't do it. But a lot of big shows, it's a key way of looking at art is that it's every work of art is a twist. And what Bloom tries to do is in his insane way that he writes these things, he tries to describe the kinds of moves that artists make to get from the old work of art to the new work of art. For Bloom, by the way, one thing that's worth keeping in mind, especially if you're writing in literature majors, because this is a really important thing, and I think this is one of the most important things if you're writing a lit major, you're going to get from me all semester long, especially if you're a creative writer, um, is notice that in Bloom's theory, it is not possible to be a great writer without being a great reader. Because what writing is essentially is reading someone else's stuff and twisting on it. A lot of my students have this funny idea that they'll say like, well, why'd you become a writing lit major? And they go, well, they'll say I hate reading. I hate reading. And I go, well, why are you writing a lit major? This seems like a major that would involve a lot of reading. And they say, well, I like writing. And I think that's fine if you're writing for therapy purposes and that kinds of thing, and you want to feel better. And there's all kinds of things you can do if you like writing and not reading. Good for you, make it work. But I think if you take a look at any of your favorite writers, they're going to be heavy readers. Um, and if you want to understand your favorite writers, the best way to understand what they're doing is to find out what they're reading, because it'll show you what they're twisting on. Every great artist, in my personal opinion, is a twist on some earlier artist. And the best way to get to know any artist is to take a look at, like, if you care about Quentin Tarantino, go Google search what Quentin Tarantino's 5 favorite movies are and watch them, because it turns out what Quentin Tarantino's movies are twists on other people's movies. Kill Bill is almost like a DJ where he's remixing his favorite martial arts and cowboy movies. And they're in really, you can watch Kill Bill and have a good time with it, even if you don't know where this stuff is coming from. But the best way to like really appreciate Kill Bill is to see some of the Hong Kong martial arts films from the 70s, some of the cowboy movies from the 1960s that are being made in Italy, his favorite films. And what you'll discover if you watch those movies is Tarantino is essentially remixing them like a DJ into Kill Bill. You'll be like, oh shit, that piece of music is from this other movie, or this costume design is the same. She's wearing. I'll put a video up about this, but a bunch of Kill Bill is twisting on earlier movies. Even the individual fight moves are from earlier movies. So that and now some people will be like, oh, he's ripping them off, but he's not. When my students plagiarize papers, they don't want me to notice. Right? If you write your paper for me and you take a paragraph from a website, you stick it in your paper. If I notice and I go, this isn't from you, and I look it up and I find them, it's very easy for me to catch these things. If I find it for you, and I go, oh, and I confront you, and I say, see your paper here? And you stole this other thing and used it in your paper. And they're like, oh, no, professor, I didn't. I have a photographic memory. You don't. Um, Whenever anybody asks me, whenever one of my students goes, oh, I didn't mean to plagiarize, professor, I have a photographic memory. I always start a Shakespeare quotation from class and see if they can finish it. They never, ever can. You don't have a photographic memory. No one has a photographic memory. It's very rare. Or maybe not even real. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Look at it. This is called a Dutch angle when you do it as a. All right, that's pretty cool. All right, I'm digging this. So if I catch a student plagiarizing, they don't want me to notice where I'm getting it from. Tarantino's not like that. If you go to Tarantino and you say, "Hey man, this fight scene looks exactly like the fight scene from this 1960s cowboy movie called Once Upon a Time in the West," and he would be like, "Yes, that's my favorite movie. I'm so glad you noticed that." So he wants you to know. The best Tarantino fans are the ones who know where he is getting this stuff from. That everything he does is a twist on some earlier thing. The Matrix. Here's an easy one. The Matrix is a twist. What is it twisting on? It's twisting on old martial arts movies. The Matrix is a twist on old martial arts movies. What is the new thing it does in the twist? Robots. It adds in robots and virtual reality and crazy Baudrillard philosophy. That is the twist. It takes all your favorite cool martial arts fight scenes. It does that, but it adds in all of this complex philosophy. And also this whole thing with the robots. If you watch old martial arts movies like from the 70s, characters will do kicking and punching, but they will also leap very high into the air and do these impossible physics things where they're leaping off of walls and shit. Um, what the Matrix does is it says, well, that's cool. Let's give a reason why that's possible. How about the real world as a computer program? And if you hack the computer program, you can do things that are impossible in physics, like move faster than bullets. In the old martial arts movies, they would move faster than bullets, but it was just like a thing they could do. And in the new movies, like, you know what my twist on this is? I'm going to offer an explanation for how they're moving faster than bullets. How about the whole world is a goddamn illusion, and they're hacking into the reality code or whatever. And so that's their twist on that. If you know, I could do this all day. If you know 50 Shades of Grey, it's a twist on Twilight. If you know Twilight, it's a twist on Dracula. So like every 50 Shades of Grey is a sort of pornographic BDSM book that came out. It originally began as fan fiction. Somebody was doing what is fan fiction? Fan fiction does exactly what Harold Bloom says that art does. Fan fiction takes a work of art and says, you made some errors. I think these two characters who in your story are maybe straight people, I'm going to make them gay in my story because I think you made an error and they should have been gay the whole time. And so somebody will make a piece of fan fiction where they've got, like, say, Captain America and Bucky are making out. And this is called slash. It's called slash fiction when you do that. And what they're doing is they're saying, I agree with Marvel movies. I think they're very cool up to a point. And you go, I think they should have more gay people in them. And then you write in so that they're gay, or you draw pictures of them making out with each other, because you're offering to correct, to reinterpret, to twist on the Marvel movies as they exist. Now, obviously, you can't publish that, but you can imagine inventing some similar characters to Captain America and Bucky and telling your own story where they get together and they're gay together and they're very happy. And you could do a whole story like that. So that's how Harold Bloom works. Essentially, every work of art is a twist on a previous work of art. And this now brings me to, I'll tell you something about myself. This is the reason. And my entire film class is built on this. If you take the film class with me next semester, what we're going to do is we're going to watch 3 movies by a guy named David Lynch. Then we're going to watch 11 more movies. And the 11 more movies we're going to watch are things David Lynch is obsessed with. And what you will see is the crazy ways in which he transforms the old movie into the new movie. And these are surprising changes. You'll see this in film class if you take it with me. But the David Lynch movies, they don't look anything like his favorite movies. He's totally transformed them into something where most people would be like, what are you talking about? There's no connection between these two movies. But if you study carefully David Lynch's movies and you study these early movies by Hitchcock, by Kubrick, by Orson Welles, by Billy Wilder, you will see that what he has actually done, people think David Lynch is this crazy guy who came up with this crazy original shit, and it is original. But what's original is the way, it's not that just they came out of nowhere. They're original because they pulled from something else, old Hollywood, and they twisted them. And David Lynch twists old Hollywood so hard that you basically can't even recognize it anymore. It's hard to even discover what he twisted on because it looks so different. All right, let's do some more of this. Maybe I'll go back into Harold Bloom here. Oh, sorry, I was going to answer a question about me. Shakespeare. This is the reason why I study Shakespeare. I've been obsessed with Shakespeare, and I've not just read, but studied deeply, meaning I read the play, and then I read thousands of pages about the play, and then I watch all the movies. And I've been studying Shakespeare obsessively for about 5 years. Why do I do that? Because Shakespeare is the most influential author. He's very famous, and everybody is exposed to his works. And he's such an influential, important author. I study Shakespeare because I believe Harold Bloom is correct. I believe every work of art is a twist on an earlier work of art. And the reason I study Shakespeare is because he is at the center. Everybody rips off Shakespeare. Even people that don't know they're doing it, because they are often, some modern artists may be ripping off, maybe twist, let's say ripping off, let's say twisting. One modern artist may be twisting on an earlier one, and that person may be twisting on an earlier one, and that person is twisting on Shakespeare. So when you get to, I study Shakespeare because I think Shakespeare gives you the key to unlock piles and piles and piles of movies, because you're able to be, oh shit, The Lion King is a twist on Hamlet. And or Seinfeld and modern day sitcoms are a twist on Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. Game of Thrones is a twist on Shakespeare's King Lear, because Shakespeare's such a big deal that artists are always responding to his work, and it's a huge way to get into sort of some of the major works of Western literature. Everything makes more sense when you understand them as responding to Shakespeare. Okay, I'm gonna end this video. Ooh, this selfie stick is cool. I'm really. I'm gonna screw up. The camera's gonna go flying. All right.